Hello, welcome to another 1v1, this time on Road to Kharkov, Redxwings versus Endeav. Over Commando West versus Soviets. We do have tech faking here in the Soviet base. Special Rifle Command being on top of the support weapon Campanaya crater, so it's sort of a bundle of craters, and that's probably the best way to do it. You don't have to make two explosion noises. Looking in the fog, they have no way of knowing which of the two buildings you're building or which one you did first, because the craters are on top of each other. They'd have to really be watching closely as soon as you did it, and they have their own stuff going on in their base. So easiest and fastest way to do tech faking, highly recommended. Redxwings sending his combat engineer squad out here to this strategic victory point. We also have Conscripts coming in for this strategic point. And super aggression from Endeav here in the south. We have a Stern Pioneer squad walking right up to the cutoff point, skipping all of his own territory, doing some backcapping, possibly with these Grenadiers, possibly even pushing with them. Yes, he will also be pushing with them. They are not capping either, so very aggressive start by Endeav, trying to win these opening engagements with superior close-range infantry. As soon as those combat engineers around the corner, one down, forces an immediate retreat. So that's a good opening engagement there. Conscripts moving up across the right side, and the supply half-track is going to back off a little bit, actually. Possibly to do some scouting, or maybe just getting it ready to be set up. We do have conscripts getting into the house over here. Endeav taking a position on two different sides, though, allowing the conscripts to fire out of all windows. Taking a little bit of damage on these Stern Pioneers, but he's actually going to evacuate the house. Interesting. What is he doing? Looks like he's getting in this house. Okay. I'm not sure what he stands to gain by doing that. Stern Pioneers are circling all the way around to the north side. And they're going to do heavy damage to those conscripts, which again evacuate. Moving back down towards the Volksgrenadiers to group up with this Penal Battalion. Penal Battalion is unusual start, but apparently it's all the rage in the games that I've been casting recently. Penal Battalion doing good damage to the Volksgrenadiers. Conscripts will retreat. Stern Pioneers also moving into close range on the Penal Battalion. I don't know, it could be close. Penal Battalion getting too close, though. Oh, and he doesn't fight it out. If he had stayed at medium range in this cover, I think he could have possibly won this engagement, but he doesn't fight it out. He runs away from those Stern Pioneers, and it looks like Endeav will hold the cutoff for just that split second longer. Conscript squad is moving up to retaliate. Meanwhile, we have combat engineers moving down through the west side of the map. Volksgrenadiers also working on the cutoff and other strategic points over here, but Endev's fuel still has not been taken, and he still has not managed to connect this fuel to his own territory either, as he needs to take this strategic point. So very low resource income for both teams this game. Soviets are about to take this cutoff, though. They do need to make a move for the fuel and munitions. Reinforcement happening here in the base. And it looks like we are going to see two conscript squads, two penal squads, and that will be his opening core infantry force. If we take a look at Endeav, we have three Volksgrenadier opening and a quick battle group headquarters, so that is going to be a retreat point for him in the very near future, I suspect. Looks like he is saving the 300 manpower up for that. He will be getting that next, I believe, based on his current behavior, and that will be a good staging point for his continued assaults on this cutoff, which he still holds. Penal Battalion is going to round the corner and catch those Volksgrenadiers. He should be able to win this engagement at close range. Doing great damage. Grenade going out, though. Does not dodge. Heavy damage on that Penal Battalion, and he'll be forced away again. And Endeav is able to maintain his control of that cutoff point. So very nice play there. Volksgrenadiers moving up to the left side fuel, finally getting that capped. They will probably be able to force away these combat engineers, since there's only one window in this house, and they will have superior firepower there. And these Stern Pioneers can move down to support if they have to. We also see forward retreat point is getting established on the battle group headquarters. And finally, it looks like Redxwings has managed to make a push for the cutoff. Actually, there is a decent-sized force of infantry moving back towards the cutoff. He will be able to get it captured here, though. Stern Pioneers taking up a position behind the wall. Now they'll assault with Volksgrenadier screening. Very nice. Very nice there. Chasing that conscript squad away. Penal Battalion trying to get into a safe position. Doing a little bit of damage, but finally being convinced to retreat by the superior firepower of those Stern Pioneers, and now the Volksgrenadiers will be able to go retake that fuel. Meanwhile, conscripts harassing the cutoff down here, but these Volksgrenadiers are right by the battle group headquarters and will be able to reinforce and win this engagement pretty much no matter what happens. Meanwhile, we have a mine going down here on the southern fuel, so any attempt to retake that may go punished. And the cutoff does get taken as well. So Redxwings really struggling to get any fuel here. And Endeav, on the other hand, will be able to take control of this fuel point in the near future, but he still hasn't connected it to his own territory because he hasn't taken this strategic point yet. And if he can't hold that one or this one, then the north half of the map will remain cut off from him. We do have a flamethrower upgrade on this Penal Battalion, and if we take a look at Redxwings, he has 32 munitions coming in because he actually has managed to connect a munitions point as well as holding a lot of strategic points. So that will give him access to satchel charges on his Penal Battalions, and I believe it takes like 2 satchel charges and a couple flame bursts to bring down the truck, so if he can pull that off, that will be very beneficial. And we actually see defensive tactics chosen by Redxwings, giving him the mortar, the anti-personnel mines, the tank traps, the Dushka, and the light AT guns. So it's kind of an early game doctrine actually. He's already got access to all of its features with only 2 command points, so he's hopefully going to be able to make good use of that. Oh, nice grenade dodge right there. Doesn't inflict any damage. The Penal Battalion should have the advantage. Conscripts also overwhelming these Volksgrenadiers with superior numbers. They'll be forced to make a retreat as well. And finally, it looks like the Soviets are managing to retake the right side. They just need to get some capping power over there. Dushka machine gun also moving up. Would not be surprised to see one of these AT guns called in to deal with the truck in the near future, but we'll see what he chooses to do. Lots of reinforcement and healing going on at the battle group headquarters. We also see Panzer Fusiliers hitting the field, so we do have breakthrough tactics chosen by Endeav. Dushka setting up to fire, but it's not going to be able to do much against these opponents in green cover. So it is packing up, going to reposition a little bit. Probably going to get flanked by these Fusiliers, though. And we do have some capping going on over here on the right, but meanwhile the left is getting harassed rather hard by these Volksgrenadiers. Panzer Fusiliers will be able to capture the cutoff once again, though, using the cover of these bushes, and that's one thing that makes the north cutoff so much easier to harass than the south, is there's no vision blockers down here. So it's much harder to harass the south cutoff point. Ooh, grenade goes out on this Penal Battalion. Doesn't inflict as many casualties as it could, though. Flamethrower may be able to turn this engagement back around. Yes, it does. Volksgrenadiers are forced to make a full retreat. Minesweeper upgrade on this Combat Engineer squad as well as they capture the central victory point, and we do have a lot of firepower concentrated on the center here as Endeav tries to take the central victory point and lay a few mines and defenses here on the cutoff point. Dushka moving up to fire. Stern Pioneers also taking up a position behind the wall to prevent pushes. And this infantry is going to take a lot of damage at long range from these Fusiliers and Volksgrenadiers. Dushka does suppress those Volksgrenadiers. Looks like Volksgrenadiers are going to get overwhelmed here on the right-hand victory point. And they will be forced away. Actually retreating the Penal Battalion, they're very heavily wounded. He wants to get them healed, so I suppose we do have a field infirmary upgrade on the headquarters. Dushka moving up. Conscripts also moving up. And it looks like the Minesweeper has actually spotted or exposed this shoe mine over here. Ooh, 120mm gets a nice shot, dealing heavy damage to that Panzer Fusilier squad. And I suspect this Minesweeper will be moving to sweep up those mines. Don't think he's... Oh no, that's actually a Soviet mine. Never mind. So yes, the Minesweeper will be clearing those out as the conscripts and Dushka advance. 120mm also firing away on the enemy infantry. Sturm Pioneers circling around, trying to find targets of opportunity, taking some territory, being very aggressive with those. Good to see. Flamethrower coming up to deal with the Sturm Pioneers. The first burst is rather ineffectual though. And he sees the flank coming and begins to reposition that mortar. Minesweeper's actually taking heavy damage. Dushka does manage to suppress one squad. Panzer Fusilier's moving to flank though, and he will be forced to retreat. That mortar taking heavy damage though from the Sturm Pioneers, and it's just not moving as the guys keep dying. He needs to get these flamethrowers up to support, but it looks like it will get cleared out. Yep, there it goes, and he's actually maybe going to go for the steel with these Fusiliers. I'm not sure. No, he's just going to try and fight his way out of this. Heavy damage, though, coming out from these flamethrowers. Very nice. And the infantry were rather clumped, so we take some serious damage from those flame bursts. We do have a grenade going out, but he will dodge. No casualties inflicted. Heavy damage on this squad, though. It will be forced to make a retreat. Fortunately, these conscripts make it to the front lines just in time to force all of Endev's infantry away. A lot of damage on that penal battalion, but he will get it out of there. And I actually kind of disagree with his decision to retreat, that he actually could have merged his conscripts into the penal squad and then retreated the conscripts. So something to think about. Remember that you can use conscripts to merge into your more powerful infantry. It's one of their more useful features. And I think that would have been a good situation to use that. Mortar already getting cleared again, though, because unfortunately a first squad of Volksgrenadiers made it back up to the front lines. He does have a very, very well-positioned forward base that allows him to get right back into the fight. And Endeav really needs to scout out a little bit and figure out where that is so we can start bombing it at max range with that mortar, if at all possible. He's also going to want to probably start clearing this thing out once he realizes that it's firing at him, but he is getting pushed very hard. So it will be hard for him to set up his mortar in a position where he can safely bombard the enemy without fear of retribution. And that Dushka's going to get pushed back by a nice flank here by these Panzer Fusiliers. We do have freshly reinforced penal battalions moving up the left side. They will catch this squad of Volksgrenadiers and force them away. And he better notice this quickly as he's taking heavy damage. He does notice he does get out of there. A nice series of flame bursts, though. Freshly reinforced mortar. Freshly reinforced conscripts. And a very quick tank coffee battalion command, actually. So nice. He could already afford a half-track if he wanted to, or he may hold out for a T-70 or T-34. Depends on how his fuel situation looks. He only has 4 coming in right now because of how well his opponent is doing for map control, so a half-track may not be a bad idea against all of this infantry. Give him a reinforce point and some light armor, mobility, but we'll see what he decides to do. He may just hold out for T-34s. He does have a few Panzerschrecks to worry about, and his opponent does also have Panzer Fusiliers, so the AT rifle grenade is a pretty serious threat to his light vehicles should he choose to get any. Flamethrowers doing a good job, though, pushing up, trying to win engagements, push the infantry back, and I almost think Redxwings is doing better as far as manpower bleed and damage. I don't know if that's true. Let me check the player list. No, it's actually dead even, I would say, as far as damage inflicted. Redxwings with a tiny lead, and Endeav doing better for kills, but that's quite typical when facing Soviets because they have a larger squad size. So they're really extremely even as far as damage inflicted. It's just that as far as map control, of course, Endeav is doing so much better. It's just forcing Redxwings to focus very heavily on infantry and accelerating things into the late game quite quickly. For Endeav, he does have 120 fuel at this point. I'm almost surprised that he didn't go for a Schwer Panzer headquarters. Instead, he went for the mechanized regiment headquarters. Maybe he wants to pop a transfer ability. I'm not sure. Don't see him activating either one of those though, so I couldn't tell you for sure. But we do see mechanized regiment headquarters, so possibly he wants to get a Stuka. Because he's annoyed by the Dushka, or maybe he just wants to be able to get Pumas or Flak After X or whatever. We'll see what he chooses to do with that. Meanwhile, lots of infantry now moving up. Sturm Pioneers are forced back by the Dushka and supporting conscripts, taking heavy damage on this squad though. He will need to get that out of there. Another Dushka over here suppressing those Fusiliers. Nice. He does manage to suppress / pin both of these squads, but he's getting flanked by these Volksgrenadiers now, and I'm thinking that he will need to get out of there. This squad also being forced to make a retreat. Support is on the way though, in the form of penal battalions and conscripts moving up. Unfortunately, he just can't seem to keep his entire army on the field at the same time. He's always having to retreat a squad or two due to well-placed flanks by his opponent. He's pushing quite aggressively towards his opponent's battle group headquarters. And he does see it now, so it would be a good time for him to set that mortar up and start bombing it. But unfortunately, the mortar is rather far away. If we take a look at the range on the barrage ability, actually not, I guess there's no way to see it in a replay, but I know it has very long range. He can probably bombard the battle group headquarters from where he currently is. They're actually quite tightly clumped. He might instead aim for some of these. Oh, that was a good one. That was a nice shot right there. A couple good shots, but now he's getting charged because he was forced to retreat his screening infantry. What he really needs to do, I think, is just set it up with some protective screening squads and just bomb the battle group headquarters until it's gone, and you'd actually be surprised how quickly a 120mm mortar can clear those trucks out. But at the same time, he does have map control to worry about. He's way behind on points. Really needs to retake some territory. Only 200 points remaining. Man, Endeav has just been super aggressive and it is paying off big time. I don't know if Redxwings is going to be able to come back from this. Grenade goes out on a minesweeper, forcing them away. Dushka's taking damage from indirect fire as well as well-positioned. Wow, that's a tightly clumped Fusilier squad. Gets pushed back by overwhelming force. Flamethrower moving up as well. And actually, their standard rifles are not bad either. They are triple vet. So against plain old Volksgrenadiers, even though they're vet 3, they are actually not half bad. Dushka moving up will be able to suppress those Volksgrenadiers, I believe. Or not. I actually think that the Maxim is better than the Dushka. I think it's overpriced. It's pretty bad. I'm not really sure what the deal is there. Although it does have armor-piercing rounds, so you can use that against... you can use that and it's probably slightly more effective. I'm not 100% sure though. I know that the armor-piercing rounds on the MG34 and the MG42 are better versus infantry. I've never tested the AP rounds on the Dushka, so I'm not actually sure if those are better. Heavy damage on the penal battalion. Looks like it will get away though with a screening T-34, forcing these infantry back. Not even going to try for the rifle grenade. Making a quick retreat with that wounded squad. Moving this other squad here in cover. Grenade going out on these conscripts. Could be a good one. Oh, with a shot following up from the infantry support gun. Almost wipes the squad out. We actually have a Schwer Panzer headquarters going up. Oh, if only he knew about that with his T-34. He could rush that. Oh, we actually have a penal battalion rushing the battle group headquarters over here. Nice. They do manage to clear the infantry support gun. Satchel going out. Doesn't wipe any squads, but it does inflict a few casualties as well as take it down to about 2/3 health. Nice push by that penal battalion, wiping out that support gun squad. Very nice manpower bleed inflicted there for very little cost. Check the damage dealt again. We actually see that Redxwings is pulling into the lead by about 2,000. He sees the Panzerschwer headquarters now, but it has been fully constructed. He will need to get that cleared. Dushka is forming a nice screen for his 120mm mortar. He's going to continue bombarding this general area. He's not focusing the barrage on the truck, unfortunately, something that I think would be beneficial to get that thing destroyed as quickly as possible, but instead he's going for the manpower bleed, just trying to hit squads of infantry where possible, and he's also going to be doing some harassing with his T-34, and I think a full Volksgrenadier squad just died up here to conscripts of all things. So that's a shame that he missed that. We also have a force of infantry moving up here through the center. If we take a look at unit preservation, it looks like Endeav has lost quite a few squads. He's kind of hurting for units right now. He's going to need to pop something out to help deal with that T-34 as well. We do see 170 fuel saved. Not making any purchases just yet. It looks like he's saving for a Panther. His opponent does have only 100 points remaining, but at this point, Redxwings will finally be retaking control of 1.5 victory points. And those Fusiliers will be retreating from that T-34, giving the Minesweeper a chance to retake the point there on the right. And it looks like we have another push coming in from the from these Penal battalions, but we actually see a forced retreat propaganda leaflets from the Sturmoffizier forcing that Penal battalion away, and we will have only a squad of conscripts and another Penal battalion moving up for this assault. Nice flame burst, bringing that squad to half. Next burst inflicts 1 casualty. T-34 moving up to support as well. Nice flame burst. These flame bursts are doing great damage. Look at that, down to 3 men. T-34 trying to hit the Sturmoffizier, but it misses the shot, and a Panzerschreck moves up to screen. This mortar keeps on having to retreat. He really needs to prevent that from happening. He needs to keep it in position and keep bombarding that battle group headquarters. Still no units produced out of the Panzerschwer headquarters. He still needs another 90 manpower for access to the Panther, which I am just about 100% certain he is making based on his resources at the moment. And if we take a look back to Redxwings, he is just now hitting the threshold for a second T-34. 2 T-34s can contend with a Panther if they have AT grenade support, which they do. So we'll see how that works out for him. He may also choose one of these light AT guns, possibly, to help supplement the damage, but obviously the penetration on those is not all that great against a Panther. Dushka suppressing the Fusilier squad. They're getting in the building right next to a flamethrower. Ooh, that could hurt. Oh, they're suppressed. 1 casualty inflicted already. We actually have a grenade going out from these Volksgrenadiers, but Panzer Fusiliers will make it away. Not much damage inflicted on the Penal battalion either. Mine's going down as well up here in the north. Penal battalion forced back. T-34 moving up to support, trying to take shots at infantry at long range as he does not want to lose this tank. It will be critical in winning future engagements for him to preserve his tanks, and we do have a second T-34 hitting the field now. Panzerschreck shots flying, so he will be forced to move that back. We actually have a push going in on the battle group headquarters. He does get into satchel range. Oh, nice mortar as well, and I think that satchel could be devastating. Yes, it is. Almost destroying the headquarters and wiping 2 full squads. Yikes. Conscripts are taking heavy damage, though, and even more full squads moving back to retreat, but it's actually too late to save the headquarters as a mortar shot, or possibly T-34 shell, has obliterated it and completely. And that's going to force a full retreat by Endev's army and open up the way for these T-34s actually to advance and assault on the Schwer Panzer headquarters. And it looks like he's planning on doing just that. He's hovering just outside of range. Maybe he doesn't want to go in yet. Nope, he's going to go in with just the single T-34. Not going to wait for his other one to get repaired because he knows his opponent just made a full retreat. He also needs to get his mortar. Oh, he retreated it again. I don't know why, but he would be able to supplement the damage quite significantly if he moved his mortar up to support this push. And we actually see that the Schwer Panzer Headquarters is able to hold its own quite nicely against medium armor. Every shot that penetrates actually does quite decent damage. It's a pretty powerful gun. So he's not going to be able to clear that out just yet, but hopefully with 120mm support he will. He also has repairs going out on his armor here. Maybe considering getting another combat engineer squad. He'll probably want to get his repair speed up just slightly, as right now it takes quite a while to get tanks repaired. But at the same time, he is doing very well. He's in a good position as long as he can hold out. But we do see... Is that a Panther? No, that's a King Tiger. We do see a King Tiger being produced. Wow. That is going to be dangerous. He does have two T-34s, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to deal with a King Tiger. That's going to be very problematic. So, Königstiger hitting the field, Pintle Mount machine gun already going up on that thing, and that is probably going to make a very grand entrance. He's probably going to smash right through the central lines here. There's pretty much nothing that can stop it except for two T-34s, and with proper Panzerschreck and infantry support, that's not going to stand a chance. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Schwer Panzer Headquarters has pretty much taken all it can take though, and boom, there it goes. T-34s do bring it down, so he was not able to take it out, or not able to produce any units out of there, but it looks like the only reason he even built it was to give him access to the Königstiger, and we'll see if he's able to capitalize on that. It is making its advance. It has shown its face, and already the infantry that saw it are making a full retreat. Support weapons also going to be forced to make a full retreat. Every single shot inflicting heavy casualties, up to 6 kills already after just barely hitting the field, forcing all of these things away. Ooh, devastating firepower. Hull machine gun doing good damage, actually. And it looks like he's going to keep advancing, hunting the enemy tanks. He does find himself a little bit between these two tanks, though, exposing his rear armor a little bit to this T-34 over here, possibly going to hit some mines as well. Yes, he does. He's actually hitting the anti-personnel mines from the defensive doctrine. They're not really doing anything. He's about to back over a mine, though. Oh, he actually burns to death in his own Molotov right there. Doesn't inflict any squad wipes either, so that's the end of that conscript squad. T-34 might be able to get a few lucky kills. Or not. Penal Battalion actually finds the infantry support gun. Nice flank there, but these Fusiliers and Sturm Pioneers are quickly moving into position to support against that. King Tiger also circling back around the south, trying to get rid of that T-34, which is proving to be quite a nuisance. May clear this support gun out. But it does make it away to safety. King Tiger also makes it into supporting range, and the T-34 is forced away. Conscripts and the second T-34 moving in on the central victory point. King Tiger moving up to support. Molotov going out. Heavy damage. Ooh, he actually does a little friendly fire there. Almost takes out that Sturm Pioneer squad. But heavy damage going out on these conscripts regardless. Oh, detonating a Soviet mine. That's a shame. Panzer Fusiliers actually trigger one of those anti-personnel mines. They're kind of like S-mines, but they're like the Soviet version. You don't lay them in a field, you just lay them individually. So if you've never seen those before, they're not bad, apparently. And they cost 7 munitions for one of those, so that's not bad at all. That's pretty good. King Tiger continuing its reign of terror, still hasn't even taken damage, inflicting lots of casualties, but Spokes Grenadiers will be forced away. Unfortunately, the turret rotation of a King Tiger is ridiculously slow, so it's not quite able to bring it to bear. He's trying to circle around here to the left side victory point, regain control. Slowly rotating his turret, forcing away that Dushka, but not before it is able to get the point captured. He's racking up the kills, slowly making his way towards Vet 1, which will of course give him access to combat blitz, which makes it even more difficult to kill. 30 munitions to activate though. AT grenade going out, will he get the engine damage off? Nope, does not penetrate, barely even does any damage. And as you can see, the King Tiger's biggest weakness is its turret rotation time. It takes absolutely forever for that thing to track on a target. It's actually faster to rotate the tank itself than it is for it to rotate its turret, so something to keep in mind when you're trying to get those shots off. It's how you are keeping, it's how you're positioning, and how you are handling that slow rotation time. It actually has quite nice accuracy. You can see that it's picking off infantry even on the retreat. It seems like it's almost more likely to hit a retreating unit than it is to miss, and I don't know if that's because of AoE and low scatter, or if it just has good hit chance, or what it is. Nice shot on the rear armor of that T-34. We actually did get a penetrating shot on the frontal armor of the KT, inflicting a little bit of damage. We also have a third T-34 on the field, attacking this battle group headquarters, which is actually a new battle group headquarters that we see. Also upgrading with a new retreat point, so a lot of big investment there. Could he get a rifle grenade off on this T-34? Yes, it will go off. Panzerschreck shots also firing, and that's a damaged engine. That will make that T-34 extremely vulnerable to this Panzerschreck squad, extremely vulnerable to the King Tiger. Looks like he is going to move in and chase that. Heavy damage coming in from the 120mm. He's also going to have to screen these Vet 3 penals, which are moving in on the support gun. But the King Tiger will probably be able to get that T-34. He's continuing to chase. Heavy damage on the chasing Panzerschrecks, though. Oh, nasty mortar from the 120mm. Nice flame burst, too. He's not dedicating quite enough attention to these penal battalions, and they're going to wipe a lot of squads. He does retreat just in time. Oh, and the 120mm actually does a little friendly fire there. He's able to save that Stern Pioneer squad as a result, just in the nick of time. Meanwhile, the King Tiger does take out the injured T-34. Another AT grenade being thrown, but still, it does not penetrate. It does, however, bring the King Tiger down to about 2/3 HP. Meanwhile, Adushka continuing to push. We actually see that the Soviet does control all 3 victory points. Still 292 to go. He's going to need to continue pushing, continue being annoying, basically. And even though he has less firepower, less lethal units, he will need to continue pushing and keeping Endeav occupied and get those victory points ticking in his favor, despite the fact that he has so far to go. We actually do see sector artillery going down here, trying to force a retreat of that mortar, which works, which is going to take the pressure off of his battle group headquarters, at least momentarily. It looks like a lucky mortar actually wiped his Stern Pioneer squad, so he has no way of repairing. He can't repair his King Tiger, and he can't repair his battle group headquarters, so he may consider getting a new squad of Stern Pioneers, but we'll see what he chooses to do. And he actually still has 2 T-34s to worry about over here, and with a half HP King Tiger, that actually is a somewhat meaningful threat. Heavy damage going out on his Panzer Fusiliers as well. Oh, and the Dushka squad gets wiped by a nice shot, which destroys the gun and therefore the entire crew. Panzerschreck squads move up to screen for the King Tiger. Nice move there. Hopefully it won't be taking too much damage. I'm not sure what's going on here. Kind of faced awkwardly.
Command level capabilities ready for deployment.
Oh, that could be a nasty mine if he triggers it. And we do see a 4th T-34 hitting the field. Only 3 currently left as 1 has been destroyed, so that's a lot of T-34s being produced. And we'll see if he can keep this King Tiger adequately repaired and screened. We don't see any Kettenwerfers, unfortunately, so we won't have any nice long-range AT. He really only has the AT grenades as well as the Panzerschrecks. Ooh, and I think his King Tiger may have been caught in a somewhat awkward position. Does very, very gracefully reposition, though. So nothing too bad there. These T-34s are not moving into support at all. We do have a Dushka moving up over here, screening any possible infantry. AT grenade coming out again. And yet again, it does not penetrate. Yet another deflection. Still no damaged engine on the King Tiger. Every single one of those AT grenades has hit the frontal armor, so he's just not getting any luck. Panzer Fusiliers firing away on those penal battalions. 120mm doing excellent damage to the battle group headquarters, but it looks like he's going to prioritize the King Tiger over the battle group headquarters. Hopefully it will be able to survive long enough. I'm not sure though. We do have a penal battalion moving in very aggressively. Could be another satchel charge. We also have a T-34 moving in to harass. There's the satchel. The infantry are going to get clear, but the battle group headquarters is destroyed. Unfortunately, Storm Pioneers couldn't get into range in time, and it does get taken out. Now, I'm surprised the King Tiger hasn't made a push to destroy that mortar because it's just doing horribly devastating damage. I'm also surprised he put that battle group headquarters in such a forward position where the mortar would be able to attack it with such impunity. Ooh, nice Molotov, dealing heavy damage to these infantry, forcing an early retreat there. Oh, nice shot by the KT, though. Not sure those conscripts will make it away. No, they get wiped out. Meanwhile, Panzerschreck shots going out on the T-34, circling around with Fusiliers as well, possibly trying to get a rifle grenade, or just taking cover behind the shack. King Tiger continuing to move up. Soviets now only have 54 points remaining, and they are losing control of the central victory point. King Tiger finally moving to retaliate on that mortar crew. Oh, and the mortar's destroyed, and the mortar crew will rout. If only he had done that a little earlier when he still had his battle group headquarters, that would have been so beneficial. And it looks like the T-34s did not like that, and they are going to move in, trying to take out the King Tiger. Heavy damage from that series of shots. He needs to activate Combat Blitz right now, but he should have activated. It's too late now. He will get encircled. Very nice push by those T-34s, and that King Tiger didn't stand a chance. If he had activated Combat Blitz, moved straight back, possibly could have gotten into range of something, I don't know. His Panzerschrecks were all the way back here, so he would have had to pull off a miracle to get away, but Combat Blitz would have been the beginnings of such a miracle. That's too bad that he didn't do that. And now, that will leave Redxwings with free reign to just dominate the field. He actually has 200 fuel stockpiled in addition to the 3 T-34s he's got on the field already. Ooh, nice mine right there.
We have more conscripts at our disposal.
Very nice push going in by Redxwings now. He's done a good job of preserving what units he could, even when that King Tiger was dominating the field, and he did an excellent job of harassing and pushing with his infantry on the battle group headquarters, even with a King Tiger doing its very best to stop that from happening. And it looks like we actually see a battle group headquarters going up again. And this one's not even fully constructed, I don't think. We do see a Kettenwerfer though. So the T-34 is going to get pushed back, but at this point things are looking grim. Of course, Oberkommando West does have the late game advantage, but with a King Tiger destroyed and only 3 fuel coming in due to severe loss of map control and very weak forces, I'm not sure Endeav is going to be able to come back from this despite his incredibly good start. It's amazing what 120mm mortar can do for the Soviets. Of course, with proper screening. Infantry moving up on the right side. Tanks actually not going to engage. He doesn't want to risk losing them. He's just keeping them in the back, getting them repaired up. Oh, and the anti-personnel mines are actually doing a nice job of deterring these pushes. heavy damage. That's like 25% HP remaining. Molotov going over the wall, going over the trees, but it doesn't work. Fusiliers hit a mine anyway, though, just heavy mining all over the right side, making it really difficult for Endeav to push up. And now a counterattack is going in on the brand new battle group headquarters. Penal battalions moving in. Great use of these satchel charges, these penal battalions, is something you just never see, but he's making great use of them. They are triple vet. Look at the flame bursts going out, heavy damage on the battle group headquarters. We will possibly see a second satchel charge. Maybe not. No, he will be forced to retreat before he can get another one off. Although he certainly had the munitions for it, so I'm actually moderately surprised he didn't throw another one. Something to keep in mind is with abilities like Satchel Charge and Rifle Grenade and Grenade, or whatever it is, if you have multiple squads selected and you click the ability and click target, only one of the squads will do it. They won't all do it. So if you want multiple squads to do it, you have to like do it multiple times, and that's obviously a good application for hotkeys. Battle Group Headquarters does not get destroyed by that push. Still, it was a good use of those infantry, good way of keeping his opponent busy, wasting his time while he gets the tanks repaired, and now we do have 3 full health T-34s pushing. Heavy damage continuing to go out on the Battle Group Headquarters. We will have these 2 tanks moving into support as soon as they can make it. This one will need to pull out as it's taking engine damage. Panzerschreck fire and Rakettenwerfer fire. These 2 tanks quickly move into screen though. Yikes, heavy damage going out on that one. One more Rakettenwerfer shot could do it, or one more Panzerschreck burst. And here it comes. Oh, and the tank is destroyed. So that's good. That's the beginnings of pushing the Soviets back, but he still has 2 more to go. He's running out of time. He only has 44 points left. Or sorry, it only has 100 points left. His opponent only has 44 points left. Dushka also moving up to stall.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
T-34 is also creeping just out of range. Fusiliers are going to make a push for the central victory point. It looks like the route they're taking should be clear. Dushka is somewhat poorly positioned. It's actually looks like it's going to rotate just in time. Or, I don't know. No? It's moving backwards. Panzer Fusiliers may be able to get the point capped if they can pull off a nice grenade or something. Or they'll just take cover here behind the shed. Conscripts, unfortunately, moving up to prevent the capping. They do stop the timer. Molotov also going out. T-34 support, forcing the Fusilier squad back. Meanwhile, no success over here on the right side. We do see a squad pushing desperately for the left side, and they do have sprint since they're Vet 5. That gives them sprint passively on the Fusiliers, making them a great capping unit. But we do have the fresh T-34. That's T-34 number 5 hitting the field, moving down to push those away. And Penal is quickly following up to retake that territory, and we have a nice spread of units from Redxwings all over the map, preventing anything from pushing and retaking any territory without significant firepower backing. Somewhat concentrated push for the right side for Kettenwerfer, Panzerschreck, and Sturm Pioneers, but unfortunately the Dushka will suppress and prevent any capping there. Squad does get pinned. The support gun is firing away, but it's not quite able to wipe the squad out. Meanwhile, Penal's continuing to push and distract, keeping Endeav busy while that clock ticks away. And finally, it looks like Endev's points have fallen below Redxwings. And Endeav is actually going to call GG. Say he kind of through this, should have just pulled back for repairs. And that's true, he did make a few critical mistakes, but in order to throw the game, somebody on the other end does have to catch it, and Redxwings did exactly that. He just really did an excellent job of following up on all of Endev's mistakes, always pushing, always looking for a weakness, any opening, especially when the King Tiger overextended just that extra bit against the mortar. He did take the mortar out, but those 3 T-34s followed up beautifully and took it out, and had the King Tiger used Combat Blitz there, I'm not even sure if that would have gone the way it did. Sometimes an Axis tank with a sliver of health can just pull off amazing things, but that was not the case this time. So, well played by Redxwings, taking advantage of all your opponent's mistakes and making an amazing comeback. There was a point in this game where I thought for sure Endeav had this game in the bag, so that was a pretty intense one. I hope you enjoyed it, and if this is the kind of thing you like and you want me to do a cast of one of your games, feel free to send me a message with a link to the replay or whatever it is, and I will be happy to do that for you. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll come back for my next video.